Hello, you beautiful lot. Is this on? Is it working? Hello, hello. Hello. Welcome to the second episode of not the Observing Eye, Behind the Eye. This is Behind the Eye. And for all of you wonderful subscribers who are a huge help to me, I want to give you a little bit of extra content, basically. And the content you're going to get this week is me recording episode 49 of the podcast, which is on holding yourself accountable. There we go. Brain freeze there for a minute. So you're going to get to see the process. You're going to get to hear me mess it up, and you're going to get a preview. So you're going to get it early. Not the finished form, obviously. You're going to get it early, me recording it here. But hopefully it'll be an interesting experience to see it. I'm going to be talking through, I've got a bit of a script or a bit of an outline that I'm going to go through with the episode. You're going to see me play with these things. I've got these little earbuds, which are good, but I think I have tiny ear holes and they fall out a bit. So I'll be forever adjusting those things. But yeah, aside from that, hopefully we'll go smoothly. So we're going to be doing episode 49, Holding Yourself Accountable. There's going to be some mistakes. You'll see when I make a mistake, I'll stop, I'll pause, and I'll go back and I'll say it again. So there may be a little bit of repetition on here, but bear with me. Bear with me. Come along for the ride. Okay, if I put that over here on screen 2, then that looks like it's recording, which is good. I did a bit of a test earlier. I think I can record in Audition whilst I'm recording on OBS. I think. Let's find out, shall we? Okay. Here we go. Hello, you beautiful lot. It's Friday, the 26th. The 26th. I can't even remember the dates. Right, let's try again. Hello, you beautiful lot. It's Friday, the 26th of January, and you're listening to... God freaking damn it. Just going to start that again. Told you it's going to be a fun ride. Right. We'll get there. Hello, you beautiful lot. It's Friday, the 26th of January, 2024, and you're listening to episode 49 of The Observing Eye, coming at you live from the computer hell cabin. We're going to dive straight into it this week. I'm changing the format a little bit. No time for reflection. We're going for it. We're going straight into accountability. So think about the last time that you set a goal for yourself. Maybe it was to learn a new skill, try and improve your health, advance your career, the usual things that we aim for at this time of year. Now take a moment to reflect on that journey. Was there a time when you fell off track? Times when the promises you made to yourself seemed to slip through your fingers? This is a feeling that all of us have encountered, a crossroads where our intentions and actions appear to diverge. This is where the art of holding ourselves accountable comes into play. It's not just about ticking boxes or crossing off to-do lists. It's about aligning our actions with our deepest values and aspirations. It's about being the architect of our own lives, steering the ship even when the waters get rough. Throughout history, philosophers and thinkers have grappled with the concept of accountability. From the Stoic musings of ancient Rome to the introspective examinations of modern psychology, the pursuit of self-accountability has been a constant thread. It's a journey that transcends time and culture, yet it remains deeply personal and unique to each of us. In today's episode, we're not just exploring what it means to be accountable. We're diving into the how. How do we cultivate a mindset that embraces accountability? How do we navigate the challenges of a world that's constantly pulling us in different directions? And most importantly, how do we transform accountability from a concept into a lived practice? So that's section 1. That's our intro. I've broken this one down into 5 sections. So we're going to be looking at understanding accountability, and I'm going to be diving into a little bit of philosophical jazz. You know you love the jazz. Have I still got the music on? I haven't, have I? No, I turned it off. Good. I do this sometimes. I forget. I've got the headphones in. I put the music on because I'm just pottering around in the back, around the house, working on things. And I forget that the music is running. And then you get Miles Davis and Thelonious Monk in the background, which is not necessarily what I want because, YouTube blocks the video, which is never great. Never great. So section 1, understanding accountability. Okay. Right, let's get Adobe Audition back up. Let's find our breakpoint. If any of you out there are good with Adobe Audition, I know this is a reach, this ask, but I'd be really interested to know how you can add markers to a waveform so I can actually place points on the audio file while I'm recording it. That'd be super helpful if anybody knows or if anybody can point me in that direction. I'd really appreciate that. All right, let's hit record on the Audition again and try and get this down. Now that I've set the stage, let's delve into the heart of today's topic, understanding accountability. Accountability is a word that we hear often, but what does it truly mean to be accountable, especially to ourselves? To unpack this, I'm going to explore both philosophical and psychological perspectives, shedding light on how these views can enrich our understanding and practice of self-accountability. So let's start with the philosophy. We all know that I love philosophy, especially Stoicism. If you followed on any of the previous episodes, you know I dropped Marcus Aurelius in with abandon. So philosophy and accountability, that's been a subject of fascination and debate for centuries. In the realm of philosophy, it's often intertwined with the concept of responsibility, which is something you'll see in the Stoics a lot. But it's not just about being responsible for our actions. It's also about being answerable to ourselves. Philosophers, especially Stoic philosophers such as Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, emphasize the importance of self-control and personal ethics. They believe that while we can't control external events, we have the power to control our reactions and decisions. This is the crux of accountability, the acknowledgement that our responses to life's challenges are within our own control. That is it, isn't it? The only thing we have control over is ourselves. In the words of Epictetus, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how to respond to them. Imagine that for a moment. For me, that's deeply empowering. The idea that no matter what life throws at us, the final say in how we respond, react, and hold ourselves accountable lies with us. Now on to psychology. How does accountability reflect in the psychological arena? Now here it's closely linked to self-regulation, a term psychologists use to describe how we control and adjust our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in pursuit of long-term goals. It involves setting objectives, monitoring our progress, and crucially, being honest with ourselves when things don't go as planned. Psychology teaches us that accountability is not about self-blame or guilt. Instead, it's about understanding our motivations, recognizing our shortcomings, and learning from them to better navigate our path forwards. This psychological approach to accountability is beautifully summed up by the concept of cognitive dissonance, and that's something that I've mentioned a number of times before as well. Carl Rogers, the founder of humanistic psychology, and his ideas on the actual and the ideal self. Fundamentally, the term describes the tension that we feel when our actions don't align with our beliefs or self-image. When we set goals and fail to meet them, this tension arises. But here's where accountability becomes transformative. By recognizing this dissonance, we're prompted to either adjust our actions to align with our goals, or reassess our goals to reflect our true capabilities and desires. So both psychology and philosophy offer valuable insights into the nature of accountability. From the Stoics' call to focus on our internal responses, to psychology's emphasis on self-regulation and understanding. These perspectives provide a rich tapestry of ideas for us to draw from. As we move through the rest here we go. As we move through the rest of today's episode, keep those concepts in mind. They are not theoretical musings. These are practical tools that can guide us in our journey towards being more accountable to ourselves. Right, that's section 1. Stop that. Okay, this might be a bit of a long one because I've really gone for it this week. But hey, it's all good. It's all good. As long as I can keep it under 30 minutes, I think I'll be happy. Right, so that's section 1. Section 2. So sorry, I was just reading the script bit. So section 2 is around historical and cultural perspectives. So we're going to jump into that now and try and get this down. What I'm not going to do in this is make you sit through me editing the file because it's just me dragging waveforms around. But I will give you this bit. I'll give you me reading the script, and then we can go from there. And hopefully you're enjoying it. If you're not, please write in the comments. I'm sick of this, David. I'm sick of your face. Okay, let's try that again. Historical and cultural perspectives. Take that. Okay. Now, come with me on a journey through time and space, across cultures to understand how accountability has been perceived and practiced around the world. Throughout history, as we mentioned, the concept of accountability has taken many forms, shaped by cultural, social, and religious norms. In ancient societies, for instance, accountability was often tied to our role in the community or tribe. There was a strong emphasis on upholding communal values and responsibilities. This collective sense of accountability ensured the survival and prosperity of the group, and deviations were often met with strict consequences. You're losing your hands, boy. Moving forward in time, we see the emergence of philosophical and religious systems that begin to place greater emphasis on individual accountability. In the teachings of Buddhism, for example, something I can speak reasonably well about, there's a strong focus on personal karma, the idea that our actions have direct consequences on our current and future selves. This belief system encourages individuals to be mindful of their actions and to live in a way that cultivates positive karma. In modern context, the rise of individualism in Western society has brought a shift in how accountability is perceived. It's become less about conforming to societal or communal norms and more about personal integrity and ethical responsibility. This shift is evident in the works of philosophers like Immanuel Kant, who argued for the importance of moral autonomy, the idea that we are each accountable for acting according to universal moral laws that we, as rational beings, determine. Today, in our globalized and interconnected world, we're seeing yet another evolution of this concept. Accountability is increasingly about our actions' impact on the broader community and the environment. It's about being conscious of our role in a global society and the legacy we leave for future generations. So what can we learn from this rich cultural tapestry of differing perspectives on accountability? One key takeaway for me is that accountability at its core has always been about a relationship, whether with oneself, the community, some higher power, the environment. It's about understanding the impact of our actions and making conscious choices that align with our values and the greater good. It's end of section 2, so I'm going to pause that. And save the file, because you know something's going to crash. Episode 49 dialogue. 49. God, I need 2 glasses, man. My precious eyes. I'm changing this a bit because I normally ad-lib a bit more, but I've decided I want to try and up the research and up the quality a little bit. So I would be keen to hear. Sorry, just got an email. I'll ignore that. I would be keen to hear whether you think it's an improvement or not, or whether I should be a bit more casual. So please drop some notes in the comments if you have something to say about that. I'm always happy to hear feedback from people on this because, you know, I'm going into this fairly new as well. I've been doing it for a year, but that's still early days. There's a lot to learn on this, and we need to experiment a bit with what's going to work or not. So, section 3, modern challenges to accountability. Where am I? I'm hoping it stops me waffling too much as well. Okay, this is pretty cool. 8 minutes 28 minutes 30 without editing. All right. So we want to try not and see, word salad creeps in. We want to try not to break the 30-minute marker, because I think anything longer than that and it gets a bit too long. I want it bite-sized. Bite-sized chunks of philosophical wonder, like a tiny biscuit with Marcus Aurelius' face embossed upon the top. Yeah. Tangents again. Modern challenges to accountability. I've lost Adobe Audition. There it is. Right. Zoom in a bit so I can see the wave. There it is. Okay, section 3. Okay, back in the DeLorean, back to the present day. And let's talk about how modern culture challenges our accountability. So it shouldn't be a surprise to any of us living in the glorious 21st century that our lives are vastly different from those of our ancestors. We are part of a fast-paced, digitally driven society where information is at our fingertips and distractions are coming at us over the garden fence like a horde of angry bats. This modern landscape presents unique challenges to self-accountability, challenges that our forebears may never have imagined. Let's begin with the most pervasive of those challenges, the digital distraction. Our smartphones, social media, and the endless stream of notifications are designed to capture and hold our attention, pumping us with the wonderful, wonderful dopamine. But what happens is this becomes a constant battle for our focus, and in this battle, our goals and commitments often end up on the losing side. The irony here is palpable. Technology, which has the potential to streamline our lives and help us stay organized, can also be our biggest hindrance to staying accountable. From a psychological standpoint, this constant distraction feeds into our brain's desire for instant gratification. We are wired to seek immediate rewards, and social media, with its likes, shares, and instant interactions, provides just that. But what happens to our long-term goals in this scenario? They become secondary, overshadowed by the immediate pleasure that these digital interactions bring. Another modern challenge is the pace and structure of our lives. Many of us, myself included, are juggling multiple roles. We're professionals, parents, partners, friends, and the list goes on. In this whirlwind of responsibilities, holding ourselves accountable to personal goals and aspirations can feel like an uphill battle. It is all too easy to let personal development slide to the bottom of our to-do list. God, I sounded like Darth Vader then. All too easy. Let the hate flow through you. I'll edit that bit out. And let's not forget the impact of societal pressures. There's an ever-increasing emphasis on success, often measured by external markers like job titles, wealth, or social status. This external focus can lead us to set goals that align more with societal expectation than with our true passions and values. The result? We end up holding ourselves accountable to standards that may not resonate with our authentic selves. And this is a dangerous space to be. These challenges... These challenges, digital distractions, the pace of life, societal pressures, they are very real. But by recognizing them and understanding their impact, we can start to develop strategies to overcome them. I just like to leave a little gap, like an air gap between each section so I can see it easily in the WAV file. So let's save that. Save it. Put it straight in my basket. Okay. Section 4, practical methods for self-accountability. Okay, and we're looking good on time. We're looking good on time, I think. Okay, sorry, just checking the audio back a little bit to make sure that's recording okay, and we're good. It's beautiful, people. It's a beautiful thing. Big, beautiful wall. Okay, next. Okay, section 4, practical methods for self-accountability. Here we go. So we've covered the history of self-accountability. We've looked at some of the philosophical and psychological perspectives on it and how modern society challenges our own accountability. So let's turn our attention to probably the most crucial part of this episode. Practical methods for enhancing self-accountability. So these, as I mentioned, they're not theoretical ideas. These are real, actionable things that you can apply to your lives right now. That was a bit of a weird one, wasn't it? Right now, boys. I apply to your lives right now. No. Let's start that bit again. These are not theoretical ideas, but real, actionable strategies that you can begin applying to your life right now. First, let's talk about integrating some of that philosophical wisdom into our daily routines. Remember, I do this so much. The amount of editing I have to do to get rid of my word salad, like my tongue goes too fast from my face or whatever it is. First, let's talk about integrating philosophical wisdom into our daily routines. Remember those Stoic principles we discussed earlier? One practical way to incorporate these into your life is through daily reflection. It could be as simple as spending a few minutes each morning or evening contemplating your actions of the day. Ask yourself, did my actions today align with my core values? What could I have done better? This practice of self-examination is a powerful tool for staying accountable to your own standards. Moving on to some psychological strategies, let's start with goal setting. And I'm sure all of us have heard of SMART goals. You know, you've come across it in work. That whole specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So these are great at work. But how often do we actually apply this framework to ourselves? By setting SMART goals, we create a clear roadmap, making it easier to stay on track and hold ourselves accountable. Because it's not just about setting the goal, it's about breaking it down into manageable steps and regularly assessing the progress. And I noticed this when I journal stuff. And I think back to the time before I would journal things, and there's no frame of reference. You know, the observer can't observe itself. So I find it like having that track, that record of what you're experiencing, where you may have slipped off track, the reasoning behind that. Because it's important to understand the reason that we do things. You know, we can't just chastise ourselves for it. This is not a self-flagellation podcast. This is about, you know, treating ourselves kindly and exploring our behaviors. Just admonishing ourselves is counterproductive. We want to be looking at the reasons why we slip up and trying to understand it. And journaling, keeping a track of that is the best way to do it. Along with this, you know, we can combining it with the idea of SMART goals, so we have a direction that we're going in, and a means of tracking the progress on that is super useful. Well, at least I find it super useful anyway. And here we come on to this idea of self-monitoring, keeping track of behaviors and outcomes. The key with this is consistency. So by regularly recording our actions, we create a feedback loop that helps us to stay aware of our progress and helps us to understand the areas where we need to improve. By applying some self-awareness, we can recognize and challenge the negative thought patterns that hinder our accountability. For instance, if you find yourself thinking, I'll never be able to achieve this goal, I'm just far too shit, then perhaps you want to challenge, well, A, stop talking to yourself like that, and B, challenge that thought. Replace it with something much more constructive, such as, I haven't achieved the goal yet, but I'm making progress. Recognize the progress. Acknowledge your humanity. Because, you know, we aren't machines. We're not just going to suddenly switch it on and it's all going to be perfect and work and we're going to be where we want to be. It's a process of change. So take that shift in mindset, because it can be the difference between us giving up on our goals and us staying on course. We mustn't punish ourselves for going off track. That's really, really important. That's why I'm repeating it again, because I really want that to sink in, okay? No self-flagellation, please. Self-compassion. That's the key. So these methods, they might sound a little daunting, especially if you're new to it. But the beauty of these strategies is that we can tailor them to fit our individual lifestyles and goals. This isn't about overhauling your life overnight. We're not changing everything like in an instant. It's about making small, sustainable changes that lead to lasting improvements in how you hold yourself accountable. That's section 4. Oh God, I thought I didn't press record then. Okay. Ooh, yeah, it's a little long. We're going to wrap up now. We're going to do the wrap up. So we're 17 minutes. I've got some chopping to do. So that'll be okay. I think that'll be okay. Good stuff. Keep an eye on the exposure because it's starting to get a bit dark here. And what happens is I don't look at the camera, and then all of a sudden I've lost the light, and it looks like I'm from Anonymous, just giving demands to the government, with just like sitting in shadow. But we're not there yet, so that's good. That's good. We're still on track. Okay. Section 5. We're just going to do a little bit of a wrap up and put it all together. Okay. So back to audition, and then save the file. Save the file. There we go. Excuse me. Right, hit record. Hit record, Joe. So we've explored the philosophy, the psychology, and the practical methods around accountability. Now let's tie it all together. I want to look at how to apply those concepts of self-accountability in various areas of our lives, because I want to give you some information, and I want to give you ways that you can actually apply it. This isn't just a jump between here is some info and now suddenly I'm accountable. Let's look at how we can apply that. We want to make the insights that we've gained from this, we want to turn them into concrete. We want to take them out of the abstract and into the action. Okay? So let's begin with personal development. I imagine that's why many of you listen to this. Now, it's a broad area, obviously, and it includes your career, it includes your education, it includes anything that you want to improve in yourself. Applying self-accountability here means setting clear goals for that growth and regularly reviewing your progress. It's about asking yourself, am I moving in the direction I want to go? What can I do today to bring me closer to those goals? And remember, it's the small, consistent steps that lead to significant change. And it's cool for you to ask yourself those questions like as much as you want. If you want to ask yourself that every day, just to check in and go, okay, this is where I want to go based on this stuff that I've recorded about myself and my action and behaviors. Am I going in that direction? Is my behavior aligning with the goals that I've set for myself? It's no good just asking ourselves those questions once and then putting them in the drawer and, buggering off and leaving it. We've got to keep them in mind. They need to be prescient in our thoughts. Okay? So let's look at those in the workplace, for example, now. So self-accountability, equally crucial in the workplace as much as it is in self-improvement. Excuse me. Starting to lose the voice now. Too much speaking. But it's also about setting boundaries, knowing when to say no and when to delegate. This balance is key to maintaining not just productivity, but also our well-being. What about accountability in relationships? Whether it's with family, friends, or partners, accountability plays a vital role. It's about being reliable, keeping our promises, and being honest, both with ourselves and with others. It's also about recognizing and admitting when we are wrong, a trait that is essential for healthy and lasting relationships. Yes, we are all fallible, we can all be wrong, and it's absolutely fine to recognize and admit that we make mistakes. Everybody does it. I do it. You do it. I don't know. I'm sure people like Buddha did it. We've all made mistakes. We're human beings. It's part of the process. When it comes to health and well-being, for example, self-accountability can be transformative. It could be as simple as committing ourselves to a regular exercise routine, eating healthier, or ensuring that we get enough rest. Here, accountability is not just about discipline, it's about self-care and respecting our body and mind. In each of these areas, the principles of accountability can be a guiding light. But I want to stress, be kind to yourself. Accountability is not about perfection, it's about progress, learning, and growing. It's okay for us to stumble, it's okay for us to make mistakes. What matters is that we get up and we learn from those experiences and we keep moving forwards. As we come to the end of the episode, I hope that you are walking away from this with a renewed sense of what accountability means and how you can apply it in your daily life. Remember, holding yourself accountable is a journey, one that's unique to each of us. It's about being true to who we are and who we aspire to be. And on that note, that is all I have to say about holding ourselves accountable. Thank you to each and every one of you who's taken the time to listen to this today. As always, I hope that you take something away from it that is useful and that you can apply to your daily lives. Don't forget, if you are interested in any more sort of content that comes out around the observing eye, philosophy, psychology, you can follow us on Substack, which is the home of this podcast, and you can find that at theobservingeye.com. That's the letter I, not the gelatinous organ through which you see. You can find us on YouTube and on TikTok with the handle at theobservingeye. YouTube is youtube.com/@theobservingeye. TikTok, you'll find us at The Observing Eye as well. And we're also on Instagram at The Observing Eye. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/@theobservingeye, on TikTok at The Observing Eye, and on Instagram at The Observing Eye. If you're interested in short clips, a bit more information about what we've talked about, you can find things there as well. As it's Friday, I'd like to wish you a wonderful weekend. Go out there and hold yourselves accountable to your goals and aspirations, and don't be frightened of making mistakes. Take care, everybody. Much love, and I'll catch you soon. There we are. That is episode 49 down. 23 minutes. Probably shave off another minute or two on the cut through of that. That's cool. Okay. That, ladies and gentlemen, is that. I hope you've enjoyed watching me attempt to get this down in some, sense of professionalism. And that it's been mildly amusing to see behind the scenes of what goes on here at The Observing Eye. And for you, this is Wednesday, so you get the podcast 2 days early this week, you lucky, lucky devils. But the edited version, without my word salads and other things, will be out on Friday at some point in the morning, UK time. So look out for that on whatever podcast platform you use, or YouTube, or maybe straight in your inbox on Friday morning. And with that, take care, everybody. Much love, and I'll catch you soon.